that piece. Story time, because I tell stories. Went to the Midwest Clinic in December, which is like 16,000 band directors get together and talk shop, go to clinics, go to concerts, and all sorts of fun stuff. And I was sitting at the Manhattan Beach Music stand one day, and I said to the guy who was there, I said, you know, there's a piece I want to do by Jody Blackshaw, who's an Australian composer, does all sorts of crazy stuff for young bands. And I said, I would love to buy this piece. And he's like, yeah, they're kind of slow. I'm like, oh, well, that's great. Buy it. And I said, what's your name? He said, my name's Ben Taylor. I said, oh, well, nice to meet you, Ben. I'm Matt Smith. I work in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's like, really? I went to high school down there. I said, really? Where'd you go to high school? Soddy Daisy High School. I know that school. I've been there. And I said, well, the Soddy crowd is happy to acknowledge him. All right, cool. And I said, well, when did you go to high school? He's like, well, I graduated in like 2001. I was like, well, who's your band director? He's like, oh gosh, I don't even remember his name. I was like, was it Rick Chambers? And he said, yes, it was. And I said, oh. I know Rick. he's like, he's a good band director around here. He's still working. He's working down the street. And I said, oh, I need to do one of your pieces. And he's like, yeah, man, I got this really cool piece that you need to hear. And I was like, all right, lay it on me. And it is not your program, because the program piece I had in there called Trailing Clouds of Glory, it's a wonderful piece, but it wasn't hard enough for this group. So I said, okay, let's do the other one I bought by him called Shattering Infinity. And it's a cool title, right? I mean, that's whatever. So this piece is like Tower of Power meets Metallica meets Miles Davis and John Mackey, who you heard Foundry earlier. Okay? It's like a combination of all of that. So like I said, this is nothing like the piece you just heard, but I think it's safe to say, students, do you like this one? Yeah, they like this one. And it's extremely difficult. And when I talked to Mr. Chambers about this piece when we were doing it, I said, you know, I think his exact words were, I didn't know that Ben had that in him. He's like, I did not know he had that much music in him. And folks, you have composers and young musicians all around you. And sometimes it's kind of those lollipop moments where we don't know these things happen, and we have to kind of remind ourselves and say, thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for inspiring. And if anything comes with this weekend, I hope that I've inspired them to continue music past high school. That's the only thing I care about with these musicians. So, in that spirit, there are two people that I have not ever really thanked for everything they've done to me. Mom, Dad, would you please stand and let me say thank you for all that you've done in music education for me. Thank you. They've been waiting 26 years for that one. So we're going to close with this piece called Shattering Infinity. I hope you enjoy it. The kids certainly do. It's been our pleasure to have you here this weekend. This is Shattering Infinity by Ben Taylor. You want one more? You got it.